Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Keo, and today I'm talking about concerts and the future for DJs. There's a lot of movement going on right now because of the CDC, the World Health Organization, and a bunch of other groups. They've made positive assessments about current situation for what's going on here. I've said for a longest time that nothing is going to happen for DJs until these other areas in the industry decide to make some kind of movement. First area is TV, movies, and theaters. If there's more filming going on, that's a plus. If theaters are open, that's a plus. If you're allowed to go to a movie or a theater for plays and that kind of stuff, that's a plus. I've looked at it from a standpoint of if we can do large concerts, that's a plus. That means that people can gather again, and we can't do our job without people gathering. So I've looked at these areas and I said that these types of things have to move in a positive direction before you can even do your bar or your club or your lounge or whatever. Um, I think that there's going to be some innovation here where people are going to have to go do stuff outdoors and you're at the mercy of weather, but still, a lot of people could do outdoors. I did boat parties for a long time, and that seems like something that technically could be done, following all the guidelines and stuff like that. Now, you can't pack 600 people on a boat anymore. I miss those parties, and those are great, but you can't do those anymore. But if a boat was big enough to hold 600, why couldn't you hold 80, 100 people? Seems logical. Uh, your money's not gonna be the same, obviously, and cost effectiveness is not gonna be the same, but boats are outdoors. There's an area where people can be outside and breathe fresh air and everything, so and play music and have a DJ. I don't see why that couldn't be feasible at this point. Same thing for outdoor weddings, concerts, all this kind of stuff. Having the CDC come forward and say that very low transmission outdoors, I think that that's a huge boom for anybody in the entertainment industry. That's a huge deal. I felt like driving theaters and this kind of stuff would be going on right now, but it hasn't taken on apparently. And there also hasn't been a lot of movie releases too, so that's been a factor. I don't think there's been barely any like blockbuster esque types of movies that people want to see in an audience. Um, it We're in a weird spot right now. So places like Chicago, which had strict lockdowns, just the strictest things, couldn't buy seeds in the store, strict lockdowns. They're saying they're gonna do Lollapalooza this year. A place like Toronto, which had strict lockdowns, is like we're canceling Caravana this year. We're not doing anything. Jazz Fest gone, beach thing gone, everything gone for Toronto. But Chicago had it bad too, and they're like, that's fine. So I think that we're gonna be in a clear place now where it's gonna be very obvious if elected officials are following the science, if you will, or if this is a political issue for them for reelection or whatnot. If you look at California, California had the strictest place thing in the country. They did a recall on Gavin Newsom, and all of a sudden, Gavin Newsom's like, you know what? Mask, what are those? We gotta be careful here, and I don't want to push out false science or whatever, or give information that I don't. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about this stuff. I go based on what I see in the news and what I see politicians are saying and doing. That's all I have to go on. I don't have any special knowledge in this stuff, and I've told everybody I'm just a DJ. I don't know anything. I don't have any special insight into this thing. I look at the trends and the trends say this thing is happening here. Trends wise, I think that it looks positive for concerts and stuff like that to get going. Now, how you feel about it is a different argument. I did a poll last year around New Year's asking how many DJs would do a New Year's party or if it's too risky. And majority of DJs were like, yeah, yeah, I'll do it. I don't care. And a couple of people said it's too risky. And I'm curious to see how people feel about it now with, people having shots and better treatments and all this other stuff. Like it seems to be that we're in a better position today than we were a couple months ago with regards to how to deal with this whole thing. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible so YouTube doesn't strike this thing down. But um, I think that we are in a better spot, and you can kind of see the grass on the other side of the mountain. Like we're almost there, almost. I have I'm a liberty minded person. I like freedom and all that kind of stuff. So that, but my politics is neutral. I'm not on the left or the right. I'm very neutral about this stuff. I think that both parties and both sides of the aisle have good points to make. And I think that it is stupid to believe that only one side is good and everything else on the other side is evil. That's just dumb. It's short sighted. There's evil on both sides. There's good on both sides, and depends on your politics or whatever. But I think it depends on where you are in life. Older people tend to be more conservative because they've done stuff, and I think that younger people tend to be more optimistic and liberal because they haven't done stuff. People are more free with your money when you don't own anything. If you have property, then you start caring about taxes and that kind of stuff. I'm getting off on a tangent. Hearing about Lollapalooza is good. Hearing about Burning Man is bad. Burning Man's been canceled. And that's in the desert. That's outdoors in the desert. And they're like, nope, can't risk it. So I don't know. We have places like Las Vegas that was shut down, but they're like, we need casinos need money. So they're like, we're gonna open up. Hope for the best. But yeah, like I look at North America and it's hit or miss, and there's no consistency in anything that's going on right now. You look at Mexico, they're doing something totally different from what America is doing and what Canada is doing. Europe is all over the place as well. It depends on England's doing something totally different from what Spain's doing and what Bulgaria is doing. Like it's literally all over the place. There's cause for to be cautiously optimistic about the future, but it depends on where you live and who's running your place. Realistically, that's what it always has come down to: where you live and who's running it. I'm hearing good things from my Indian brothers down there. That I've heard that India's kind of turned the corner now, and they're doing some stuff that's different from what these guys are doing here. And I would I would I was hoping early on that we would put petty things aside and come together as a community and as countries and be like, hey, let's solve this thing together. But that is not the case. So if you have high hope for humanity, yeah, if you got high hopes for humanity, just yeah, I say do some research into where you live, and I think that people need to get involved in politics. And this is not a political channel. Uh, I don't think that. Yeah, I'm not going to turn this into a political Fox News or CNN Plus or whatever. But get involved in politics, man. You don't live. I know people are like, "Oh, politicians are crap." That's true, but if you're involved in what's going on in your place, you have more control. And I use control lightly. When I say get involved in politics, I'm not talking about the presidential or prime minister or whatever that thing. That's gonna happen how it happens, right? Your local government you need to be involved in on a micro level. The differences between what's happening in all of these countries, it should be the same, technically. I know there's variants and all this other stuff and then whatever, but the rollouts and whatever, if somebody was doing something good efficiently, people should be like, yo, what the hell's going on over here? Like, let's figure this thing out. But they didn't. There's still places like where I live that are still doing ancient practices from 2020, instead of updating it following new information and new whatever. Like that's 100% politics. So I to that I say you need to get involved in politics. Like if you I think this is an eye opener for a lot of people to realize that you don't live in a bubble, and you just sticking your head in the sand and hoping for the best is not a sound strategy. So I don't want to turn political on this, but like there's factors at play here outside of the science. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. Ugh, all right. As it's trying to be a hopeful video, but I think that the hope comes down to where you live, and it shouldn't be. They should be hopeful across the board. Everybody across the board should have hope, but this is honestly where it comes down to where you live. Anyways, without being political, leave your comments below. Do you feel hopeful about what's coming up now and positives for getting back to normal? If you like to support the channel, you can buy something from my t-shirt shop. That's djkeo.store. I simplified the address and made it easier to find, as well as you can buy something from Instagram, djkeo underscore. My store's there as well as on my website. I appreciate everybody who supported the channel through the years and got new designs and new stuff is coming soon. Link is in the description as always. And I thank you for watching and peace out, bitches.